This is Tristan. With Tristan, Mason and Lori Kuhn started a family. About 1 in 68 children has been identified with autism spectrum disorder. Tristan is one of those children. Since his diagnosis, their family has grown to include son Jake and daughter Julia. They've learned the ups and downs of autism and sometimes needed help on the way from an unlikely hero. A dog named Two, who became Tristan's autism service dog and constant companion. In caring for a child with autism, they've learned that two is better than one.
He never really had any big signs of having autism as a little baby on up. So he was speaking 15 words-ish up until about 18 months, and then he just stopped talking over a month's time. And so it was at his 2-year check that we voiced the concerns of him losing his speech, and the doctor basically said that they would wait 3 months, test his hearing, but that it could be a sign of autism, but that we shouldn't worry about that. And so of course we stopped in our tracks and started doing research, and then ended up getting diagnosed a little after that. I didn't know anything. I mean, you hear about autism on the news and you hear about people that have kids with autism, but we knew nothing about it and what to look for and what to do to help him. I mean, it was all an unknown at that time.
Can you hold Anna's hand? You too.
You just take it off.
Oh, come here, buddy.
It's like tunnel vision, and that's what makes it very scary. The bolting and he's gone is kind of rare.
He's what's referred to as a runner. Now that means he gets loose and runs as fast as he can in any direction. Well, this was just traumatic for the family because they couldn't let loose of this child at all.
When we would go out before we had the dog, I mean, basically I would just have to hold them almost with 2 hands because of his running.
Who's gonna be on TV?
You want to see 2 on TV?
Who's gonna be on TV? Watch.
Everybody just absolutely does not understand the daily routine of a family with a child with autism. It is so hard to comprehend. Nights go on forever. A lot of times the child falls asleep early, gets up at 3 in the morning, and this is the nighttime. And then daytime is constant. You can't imagine the energy level sometimes of following these children around.
There are also eating problems, bowel problems, problems that are ongoing on a day-to-day basis that I have no idea what they're really like because I was never faced with that.
We are constantly watching him 24 hours a day. If it's not us, we literally will take shifts. We cannot take our eye off of him or bad things will happen. The cameras and the locks are for Tristan's safety. He wants to get into everything and he doesn't understand, you put your finger in an electrical socket, you're gonna get shocked. You pick up the knife, you could hurt yourself. He still does not understand those things.
No, yeah, your mouth. Your mouth. Having children in general has an impact as a teacher. You have a little bit more empathy, but then when you have a child with special needs, it multiplies that by about 1,000.
The negative, I would say, is it's a learning curve. They need to learn to parent a child with autism differently than you maybe would with a child that doesn't have autism.
Grape juice? Yes. What do you say? Thank you. No, what do you say? Please. There you go.
We're constantly watching him and chasing him, but at the same time we have to give our other children attention. So balancing it all. Jake's starting to understand now, and we've really been hardcore trying to, explain to him, and he's starting to get it.
It's done.
I just remember telling him that, that sometimes Tristan does things a little different than we do. He's a bad boy. Tristan, runs and he tries to get into things and he's just bad. He's being bad. I go, well, Jake, I go, did you know that Tristan does not understand that that's bad? I go, we're trying to help Tristan understand it. He's like, oh, he doesn't know that that's naughty? I said, no, he doesn't know. And he's like, oh.
These kids aren't acting out because they're bad or disrespectful or don't want to be friends. It's that they can't, that they have this issue that they can't do it.
Swing. One, and we got it.
Well, at first, you know, you kind of go through a grieving process of realizing that, you know, learning what autism is and, you know, the road that, you know, ahead is unknown. And so obviously it was very sad and upsetting at first, but then for us personally, we've always looked at it as a positive thing and tried to just, you know, keep an open mind and be positive for the future.
Good job. High five. Good job.
I don't want to say that.
Because he was having problems falling in the hallway, remember?
Children with autism have social interaction problems, sometimes speech problems, sometimes picking up on cues about what they should and shouldn't be doing, as another child might pick up on it right away. One of the things that's interesting is how wide the spectrum is and how different the behaviors can be from one extreme to the other.
How do you spell wolf? W-O-O-F. Yes. F, fox. How do you spell fox? F-O-F. Mommy, F-O-F. Mom, fox.
When you meet one child with autism, that's exactly what you've done, met one child with autism. Because children on the spectrum are all different, just like all children are different. What we do know is that the cause of autism is most likely a genetic predisposition combined with an environmental factor that triggers the genetic predisposition to become autism.
What letter does kangaroo start with?
C.
No, other one.
K.
Good job. High five.
Read it, read it.
What do you want to read? I've had people just say just ignorant things like, so he's going to grow out of that, right? Or, you know, he's going to just, you know, quit being bad or something like that when he gets older, you know, things like that, that just don't understand, which are really frustrating.
One of the most common misconceptions is that it's a disease and that it can be cured. It's not a disease, and it can't be cured. Folks need to understand that we are all different, and that some people are going to have certain kinds of behaviors, and other people are going to have other kinds of behaviors. So it's not an awareness, it's an acceptance. We learn to live with these things now because we know what's going on.
I've seen families grow in their understanding of how to care for that child, and that's been awesome because I've seen families at the beginning of the diagnosis really struggle because they think it's a curable, fixable thing, and they just have to go through the steps to do what they need to do for this child to overcome their autism.
I always say kids that have autism, I hate the word autistic because the word, I don't know what it is, but it's like one of those words that like makes me cringe. That's like saying he's autistic, that's who he is. But it's not who he is, it's something he has.
So I think that society is getting better, but it's important that that progress doesn't stop.
They were our very first autism dog placement in Retrieving Freedom, actually. Not just North, but the whole organization. We introduced to Tristan and kind of let them hang out. And it was right there in the grass in the yard. He just plopped down on the ground, put his arm over, maybe 10, 15 minutes, just laid there and hung out. You know, it went from absolutely 100 mile an hour to 0 miles an hour in a matter of 10 minutes of meeting the dog. That was a pretty good sign. I think the dogs always care, because we said that non-judgmental, unconditional love. That dog's going to give that. The question is does the child always accept it? Tristan did. Really from like day one, they were a pretty good match. I'm not going to say Tristan fell in love with 2, but 2 really fell into the position.
Sit, sit, sit. Just get the ball, get the ball.
We went through weeks of training at Mason's old elementary school. He was not happy at first about being tethered because he didn't understand, but he started to learn that, when I'm tethered with 2, I have to hold my handle, and it calmed him, and it became just a routine to him.
The tether actually goes from the service dog vest to the child, and it's not detachable by the child. Okay, so they can wear it on a belt or they can wear it on a vest, but something that attaches them to the dog. Now they also have a handle that comes off the vest that they get to hold. So mom walks the dog with the leash that's on the dog's neck, the dog wears a vest, the child has a tether and a handle. You take off walking, as long as the child walks at a normal pace, holds the handle, everything's fine. As soon as they drop the handle and the tension comes on the tether, the dog will lay down and won't move. Okay? So now Tristan can't bolt that way. That dog is really truly their buddy, even if they don't know it. That's the dog's job, to prevent them from running, to prevent them from getting into dangerous situations, and that's their task training.
The service dog provides a tremendous amount of comfort to a family that did not have it previously. But when they find something that works, like a service dog, pressure goes way down on them.
We can let his hand go and let him be more free.
I think that children with special needs, particularly children on the spectrum, want the same thing everybody wants.
Give Jakey a kiss. Give him a kiss.
Stuff like this.
They want love, they want comfort.
Give you a kiss. Okay. Good job. Get your handle. Hey, let's go this way. Let's go.
When she takes the vest off, she calms down and she's relaxed and she's like a normal dog. She definitely doesn't stop her service dog duties in a way. I mean, her instinct duties, I guess. Like when we were in the backyard one day, Tristan all of a sudden bolted towards the gate to go jump over the gate, and she took off and ran in front of him and stopped him. And that was unprovoked. That was her just sitting on the ground and we were looking the other way.
The common benefits of a dog are they're non-judgmental, okay, and they give unconditional love.
She's still like constantly worried about him, running to his bedroom door. Sometimes she'll sit outside his door at night when she's concerned.
That bond is so powerful because the person really believes that that dog gets them maybe better than anybody else gets them. And that is a significant relationship. It's such a powerful bond.
When you take somebody with anxiety in busy situations, or a child that has an impulsive behavior, okay, everybody starts judging those people except the dog.
Dogs have 6 senses. She understands Tristan. She even could pick up stuff even before we do. Tristan's very loving with her too. Right now, the thing that me and him do together is he will start singing the beginning of a Taylor Swift song and wants me to continue for him. So he'll sing the beginning and then he wants me to sing, and he'll just sit there and start dancing to it. And then by 5 minutes later, we're dancing in the kitchen. It makes me happy and excited because it's hard to keep his focus for very long, with me. So doing that, he gets really happy and excited, and so it's kind of like our little thing that we do together.
What society at large needs to do to help children with disabilities of all kinds is to learn to accept the fact that there are individuals with limitations, and that these limitations are not necessarily a deficit, they're just differences. And to treat the individual in a helpful way if it's necessary, and if not, like anybody else.
There's a lot of things in the vault. I call it the vault for Tristan. Tristan understands a lot. There's a lot he doesn't, like I said, with the safety issues, but there's a lot in the vault that he wants to get out and he can't.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
We keep trying, you know, to open up the communication. And I'm constantly trying to push Tristan. You know, I don't just accept what it is. I'm always trying to push him to speak better, or, you know, to try to communicate with me better. And I know it's hard for him, but I feel like if we keep pushing it, you know, it's eventually gonna come.
Two's kind of helped me realize that he can do more than I think he can.